Okay. Hi, welcome everyone. We're the American University of Rome. I'm Melissa Abraham. I'm the admissions counselor here at the university.
And I'm Mariana D'Amico, the Director of Financial Aid and Enrollment Specialist at the American University of Rome.
I'm going to give you a brief introduction to our university and talk about the admissions process here at AUR. We're a very small liberal arts university. We have 500 students per semester. Half of our students are study abroad, which means that they're here for the semester or for the whole year, having a study abroad experience. The other half are students that are here seeking a degree, which means they're here for the full program. The admissions process is quite simple. We're also on the Common Application. If you are an international student, you are waived from taking the TOEFL or the IELTS, English Language Proficiency Test. You just need to submit your high school transcript, a letter of recommendation, the online application form, a personal statement, and an essay. After we receive all these documents, we will contact you for a short interview. If you are an American student, you are required to submit SAT or ACT test scores. If you are a transfer student with less than 30 college credits, you are required to submit your high school transcript as well as your college transcript. If you have more than 30 college credits, you're just required to submit your college transcript and course descriptions.
Great. So once upon acceptance, you can have two options for financial aid, for at least our institutional scholarships. When you're accepted, you can be automatically given what we call a merit scholarship. We have three. There's the alumni scholarship, faculty scholarship, and presidential scholarship. Each of those scholarships are based on test scores and your GPA. So in case you don't have a certain GPA because you come from a certain country, we just do an equivalency to what the GPA would be in the US, and then we would automatically award you one of these three scholarships if you merit it. So it's only based on merit. After that, after you've been accepted and maybe you've been given one of these scholarships or you haven't, you can still apply to another scholarship, and we have a bunch of different kinds. We have the AUR Needs Scholarship, which basically then looks at your financial need, and if we come to the conclusion that you have financial need to come to our university, we can give you, after you've done an application that you can find online, we can give you some financial aid for your needs scholarship based on financial statements and the application that you fill out online. Then we also have the Housing Scholarship, which is a great scholarship because it gives you free housing for your first semester here in the fall at AUR. And then we also have the Michael D'Angelo Scholarship, which is a great scholarship. It's a fine arts scholarship, and that amount varies, and that is awarded to only fine arts students, which we now have a major in. Then we have the Yellow Ribbons Veteran Scholarship. So if you participated in any military, U.S. military, you could qualify for the Yellow Ribbon program, but because we're a foreign school, we can't participate in that, but we've set up our own institutional funds to give that to you. We also have a bunch of school-specific scholarships, which is based on the community schools that you might go to already in the U.S., and you can go to our website to find out more information on that. And then we also have our Terry Kirk Scholarship, which is an art history scholarship, which is about 5,000 euros per year, and that's selected based on your merit, not on your need. All of these scholarships can be applied for online, and there's also the forms that you need to fill out, and that's done after you've been accepted. So now we're going to start talking to some students and some professors that are here. Francesca, would you like to come up first?
Sorry, where you go?
Hi, Francesca.
Hello.
So do you want to talk a little bit about yourself, where you come from, and how you stumbled upon AUR?
Alright, I'm Francesca, I'm 19, I'm starting my second year at AUR as a resident student. I'm from San Francisco, California, and basically my story of how I got to AUR. I'm half Italian and half Venezuelan, and my mother would take me to Italy every year, to Venice, to go visit my family that lives in Pordenone, right outside of Venice. And we were sitting in a cafe one morning, and I thought it'd be interesting, you know, if there was any American schools here. So we went on Google. We saw American University of Rome and John Cabot. So we looked into that, and it's an international school, so I thought it'd be interesting to attend.
Okay. And what's your major?
I'm international relations, and I'm also minoring in business administration.
Okay.
And what year are you in school?
Second year, sophomore.
Well, what do you think gives AUR an international feeling to it?
There's a lot of different cultures. The students come from all over the world, so it's very interesting.
Okay, well, thanks, Francesca.
Who's your favorite professor here? Not to put you on the spot.
No, I enjoy Walston. I had him for one semester. He knows what he's talking about. He's an IR professor, so he's very, very good at what he does.
Have you been on an academic field trip with him?
Yes, I went to Geneva and I saw the United Nations and what else did I see? World Health Organization and all those different.
All the international
I know.
agencies that you get to visit when going on an academic field trip, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And you received 1 credit for that?
Yeah, 1 credit.
And did you enjoy the trip?
Yeah, it was very interesting. It helped me understand a lot of different international relations terminology because it was an academic field trip, so we learned a lot about different organizations. And,
Who did you meet with when you were at the World Health Organization?
I can't remember the name because it was a while back, but he was very high up, so he debriefed us on a lot of things that they do, different procedures and stuff.
Right. So students have the opportunity to actually register for a 1 credit academic field trip throughout the normal semester, in addition to your 5 courses that have 15 credits. These academic field trips serve to give you hands-on experience regarding the international organizations, the international political parties, where it gives you hands-on experience on talking to these actual people that have a role in international relations. It's a very unique experience.
And I think the more we start talking to the students that are here to speak with you tonight, you'll see that our curriculum is based a lot on practicum. So you're out there, you're getting your hands wet, you're meeting people, you're going on field trips. Even the business department, you said you're doing a minor in business. They work a lot with companies here in Rome, and they also do their own field trips as well, and you're working on group projects and presentations that you actually present to companies. Have you done anything like that so far?
Well, it's my minor, so I haven't been very active with business, but I have done the business club and I've sold some things to the student body, so that's as
So
much as I've done.
how's the business club like put together, and what exactly do you guys do?
I've only been at the the front just selling things, but Clifford knows more about it than I do. He's more qualified to speak about it.
Excellent. So later on, Clifford. Okay.
Well, before we leave you for Francesca, you're actually one of the new student assistants in Rome Services, right? So the student assistantship is actually part of a scholarship that Ariana was mentioning before. It's a work study program that you can apply to after you finish your first semester at AUR. All you need is a 2.7 GPA and some background in working. And it's very good because if you work 10 hours or 20 hours a week, you can actually earn a portion of your educational expenses.
And we've heard a lot from students that participate in the student assistantship program that it's great when they graduate because they already have some work in an office, and so they also gain some administrative skills and just personal skills, working with colleagues, working with team members. And what's great about our university too is that we rely on our students to help us with our positions, and so with that they can bring forth their own ideas and really also implement some of their projects that they want to do and help us with admissions or help us with financial aid. And so it's something that can go on the resume. In fact, when you apply, you need to apply with a resume and a cover letter and go through an interviewing process. So you start prepping yourself for when you graduate, that you kind of feel like you're already in the game and you have a little bit of experience with dealing with interviews and also preparing resumes, etc.
Great. Thanks, Francesca.
Thank you.
Nicole, would you like to come over and tell us your story?
Hello.
Hi. Okay, Nicole, well, why don't you tell us where you come from and how you ended up here at AUR?
Okay, so hello, I'm Nicole. I'm half Italian and half American. My mom's from Bergamo, and my dad is from Boston, Massachusetts, but my granddad's Lebanese.
You're a mix.
I was born in London, and I've lived in Italy my entire life. So I went to Italian school where I lived in Italy for 15 years, basically, and I hated. Can I say? I hated the Italian education system. So I decided I wanted to go to American University, possibly in America. Basically I wasn't able to do that, and my plan B was I need to find another American university because if not, I'm going to go be a waitress if I have to. I'm not going to study it in a university. So I was reading The Economist with my dad, and I found an article about Italian politics written by Professor James Wellston, Professor of International Relations here.
So we looked into Professor Walston, and that's how I found the American University of Rome. And still don't know what I'm going to do with my life, but thanks to Professor Walston and the International Relations Department here, I figured out that I would like to get involved in that kind of world, because I came here and was undeclared. So, for real.
Okay.
And when did you start at AUR?
A year ago? Yes.
And have
Yes, you did.
did you go with Francesca on the field trip?
I went to all 3 field trips.
Oh, so tell us about the other two
I went
field
to
trips.
Geneva, Ghana, and Kosovo. And all Professor Walston, Ghana is 3 credits though. It was
So why don't you tell us more about Ghana, because it's not a 1 credit course, it's a 3 credit course.
Ghana's the best field trip ever. Just saying, whoever's watching or not. It's a 2-week course, and we go to Accra at the Kokrobiti Institute, and we stayed there with the staff and the most amazing people I've ever met, and we experienced everything that is possible in 2 weeks in Ghana. We visited all the villages, archaeology sites, international relations, key points like Kofi Annan and Nkrumah's former president, Nkrumah of Ghana, daughter. So we met with all the political parties. We saw the inauguration of the new president of Ghana now.
Wow.
So yeah, it's amazing.
And how long do you spend there? 2 weeks, you said?
2 weeks, 16 days.
16 days.
And the other field trip that you went on,
Kosovo.
how was that?
Great. Very fun. Was not expecting it from Kosovo, but
And what did you learn in Kosovo?
well, basically about nation building, which is a very important part of international relations. What defines a nation? And in Kosovo, it was very noticeable how they still have not figured it out, but at least have a state possibly now. So the next next level is to actually be able to create a nation. And we talked to people who would explain how they were going to try and do this with Kosovo, which is very confused and separate states.
And how do you feel in general just about like the curriculum here? Because we do have a U.S. curriculum where you do the first year of Gen Ed and then you start going up with the upper level courses, and I know that's different than
I was
other
very
things.
confused in the beginning, but I figured it out after a while, and I loved it and still do, because the variety of courses never gets bored. I'm not the greatest of the students. I don't love studying, but I do love studying and following AUR courses.
And did you do any on-site courses at AUR?
I did Living Rome sociology class.
Cool. And
Took us that's a very cool class. Took us, Francesca was with me too. It took us to all the, not dodgy, but places of Rome that we would never see by ourselves.
and what did you learn in that course?
Well, we didn't learn that much, but we learned
That would have
about
been
Rome.
history.
No, we just learned more about Rome and the various. We went to the gypsy site here, and we spent an entire day with them, and how they are trying to fit into Italy, although they've been living in Italy for 17 years and still are not Italian citizens.
Right.
So they're basically illegally in the country, but yet, why can't they find jobs? Oh, because Italy won't give them citizenship. So it's a lot of chaos in this country, but it's a nice way of living.
And do you think that like having this, Gen Ed requirement your first year, whereas in like most non-US schools they don't have that, and you just start focusing, do you think that's kind of helped you?
Well, coming from an Italian background, my high school works basically on Gen Ed. So I found it very useful to still give the opportunity in college to have Gen Ed so that you don't have to focus on something, because I had no idea what I wanted to do. So basically it helps a lot.
Okay, Jack from New York has a question, and he wants to know if you participate in any extracurricular activities here at AUR.
I'm in student gov,
Oh.
started this semester, and
What's your role in student government?
events.
Okay, good.
I don't organize, but I help organizing events, and
Have you had any events for student government so far?
we've had 2. One One was last weekend, and we had a AUR, JCU, and La Sapienza event, which is a new thing for AUR because we've always concentrated a lot on focusing on AUR people, but this was an event with La Sapienza students,
La
which is
Sapienza is an
Italian
Italian university.
Italian university, and which was a lot of fun. And then we had a specific AUR event the night after that, just for us to get to know each other better.
Okay. We have Meredith from Utah, and she wants to know, because she's thinking about leaving the U.S. and she's not sure, and she just wants to know, like, what's the best thing that's happened to you here so far?
Okay. The best thing that has happened to me so far is gaining my own independence. Although I still live in Italy, I'm not at home, and last year, I will say, I wasn't the most responsible or independent person, but 1 year in Rome at the American University of Rome has completely changed that for me.
Okay, so you know how to do your own laundry now.
I wouldn't say that, but I know how to make rice and stuff. I know how to survive.
Were you in student housing?
Yes, first
Okay.
semester.
So at AUR, like I mentioned before, we have the housing scholarship, but we offer student housing to students who come over here. Usually their first semester or first year, we recommend that they do it because they're more involved with the activities that we have on campus. And so with student housing, we provide them with apartments. They're not co-ed, so you're either living with 4 to 6 girls or 4 to 6 boys in an apartment, and they're located 10 minutes around campus by foot or by bus. And they have all the amenities that you need, like dishes, sheets, comforters, etc.
Is it a clean day that comes once a week?
There
to
is a
clean?
cleaning lady that comes once a week to clean. And could you
Yes.
talk a little bit about your experience in AUR housing?
I had the time of my life. That's how I met my current roommate, Francesca.
Great.
Best time of our life. And we still remember the first day we all met, none of us spoke to each other. Like, the parents were talking to each other. We're like, okay, so we're gonna be living for 4 months together. The second the parents left, it was just chaos. Everybody was ready to know each other. We all had our first day in school with backpacks, pictures, and it was the best time ever.
And how do you think you've changed since you've come to AUR?
Okay. Well, again, I'm independent.
We already asked that question.
And you asked what's the best thing that happened to
Okay.
you here.
So how do you think you've changed?
Well, I would define myself as responsible, even from the first semester to this, which is my 3rd semester. My first semester, I spent all of my summer money, all of it, without doing anything except going out and nothing else. But now that I've sorted my life out a little bit, I work here as the receptionist at the American University of Rome. I participate in student government and various clubs, and I am more active and loving the school. Yes.
Awesome.
Good.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Nicole. Should we try and mix it a little bit and bring one of new professors in?
Yes. We now offer a new degree. Do you want to?
Yeah, we have a new degree that's offered beginning this fall. It's religious studies. And this professor here is actually the head of religious studies. Hi. Would you like to tell us how you ended up here at AUR?
And introduce yourself.
Of course.
Okay, my name is Davor, so I'm coming now from Belgrade, actually coming from many different places,
Yes.
but right now from Belgrade, Serbia, and I'm now the director of the religious studies program, and I also teach, or I will teach together religious studies and art history. So because my first degree is in art history, the second in theology and religious studies, so this is a way to combine both of them.
And what drew you to AUR? Like, what I know that we also looked for you, but what made you decide to come here and help us open this new department?
Yeah, well, actually, I had a lot of these contacts with Rome and various institutions of higher education in Rome, various universities, other schools, and also very many personal relations. So anyway, I decided that I would need to be more present in Rome over the next couple of years, if not more. So this was a kind of great opportunity. Also because it's quite a unique opportunity to be in such a beautiful place like Rome and at the same time work for an American university, because as we heard just a couple of minutes ago, like there are a lot of strange things going on with the European higher education system, also in Italy but also elsewhere. So being at an American university is really, I think, a way to get to receive a serious education.
And what do you think teaching this degree in Rome could bring to a student that maybe this degree taught in another place in the world might, not be able to have, because religious studies were in Rome and
Yeah.
What's so special about teaching that program here in Rome?
Everything is special. Actually, if you want to learn something about religious studies, religious institutions, their teachings, and all of that, or for that matter, something about our history, there is absolutely no better place to be than Rome. The obvious advantage is that you can actually see things, touch things, like be there, not just read about them or look at PowerPoint presentation or a video or something like that. So you can really experience things, and I'm saying that both for art history and religious studies. And part of our program here in religious studies is also visiting not only the most famous places where all tourists will go, but also some places that actually are more hidden kind of things that you have to discover, where you can't go yourself, or where is actually you have to know about them to really discover them. Starting from the ancient Christian catacombs to some other places that are not, for example, open to general audience or something like that. So there is really a lot of things to explore, and a lot of possibilities to actually teach and learn things on site, which is really.
Oh, great. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
And you can also be surrounded by such beautiful ladies. In a beautiful place, so that's always another.
Yeah, actually, what we haven't talked about yet is the food here. Do you want to talk about what do you think of the Roman food or Italian food, since you're not?
Yeah, that's a really good thing. I mean, generally, I love food, across Europe, all these various regional variations that you can find. But Italian cuisine is really something special. So you can also find in Italy and in Rome other kinds of food, but the Italian food with all these pastas and everything else is really great. And also siesta, that's a fantastic thing. So to have this idea that after the lunch, you need some time to just rest and do nothing is, I think, a very important cultural achievement of Italy.
Sure. Well, not for our students though. They don't
Well,
get it.
actually,
Unfortunately, but we had to do something about it.
we're located in Rome, but we have our own campus, obviously. And on our campus, we have a student lounge, which I think is great, because in the student lounge, students can go. We have we have a huge TV, and you can just kind of crash and watch The Simpsons or watch CSI and just kind of relax. So you get all these great monuments and all these wonderful things to see, and you're out and walking around in class, going there, but you also can just come back to the campus where, everybody kind of knows your name. Well, one thing we haven't mentioned was our class size. Our class size they're very small, so the professors develop relationships with the students. In fact, maybe we can talk about that with one of our next students and, their professor, the relationship. And what's good about that is that when you graduate, these are professors that can write letters of recommendations, whether it's for positions for a job or also for grad school. And that's something that, a class of 400 or 500 students can't offer you. So we have this great community here on campus where Rome might be so big and so international and kind of crazy, but you come here and you feel like you're still a part of something in the community, a point of reference.
Actually, if you see Juan from Mexico is asking, what is the advantage to you as a professor teaching a small class size rather than a large class size?
I don't think there is a point teaching big size classes. I really think, if you have some of those, courses and classes where you have 100 students in a class or more, that's totally pointless. Because I really think that to get a real education, you really have to have enough time to spend together with students. To not only education is not I as a professor telling you like solemn wisdoms or something like that, but actually is exchange, is ability to discuss things and to really then you can answer real questions that students are interested in, not only questions that I'm interested in. And when you are, for example, you teach on-site classes, you can really explore some totally new areas that I, for example, haven't been thinking about in preparing my class or something like that. So really, small classes in a place like American University of Rome, in general, is a great opportunity to get something that I think is a real education. So not just to memorize information or to hear what the professor has to say, but actually to really discuss things.
Sure.
And I think that's also a good thing. Our class sizes are small, and our students, we have students from over 40 different countries around the world. In fact, our incoming class has students from how many different
27
countries?
different nationalities.
So just our freshman class was 27 different nationalities, which adds so much, I think, to points of views and like questions that are being asked. It's not kind of like a monotonous group. You get a lot of different kind of opinions.
Sure, and I think that's an obvious advantage of the American University in Rome, that it is by its very place, the place where it exists, it's multicultural, and so like you have American university, American system of education, but in Europe and Italy, and plus you have both faculty members and students coming from all over the place.
And staff members.
And
staff members. I forgot that. Of course, like staff members and then the students and then faculty members. Okay, so it's a really kind of surrounding where you can have a lot of experience a lot of different things, make friends with people from all over the place, and then that can be really very useful for your later life and the way you perceive the world and ideas you get during the education, because it's also part of university education, not just to go through these official formal things, but actually to have sense of different cultures, of what you want to do when you graduate, what are these really important things in your life.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Professor.
Thank you.
So I think we should move on to our newest student, Roberto. He's from Venezuela, and he'll be coming around to join us now. So why don't you tell us your story, Roberto?
Hello. Well, I'm Roberto. I'm from Venezuela. I'm 17 years old and I'm currently a freshman. I started studying here. I've been 2 weeks here in the university and so far I love it. I decided to come here because I just love the idea of getting an American education in the heart of Europe, because you get so much more in culture here. It's simply amazing to live in Rome. I
Had
just
you
love
already
it.
visited Italy before coming here?
Yes.
Had already been here?
Yeah, but I was here 3 years ago, but in Florence, and it's nowhere near as beautiful as Rome.
So tell us, was the application process for you easy? Did you find that it was like there were people there to help you? Were you?
Yes, definitely really easy. But Melissa helped the process like all the way through. She was really, really great. She offered all the help in every single step, and it was really easy. Just the SAT, and well, good grades obviously. But yeah, it's really easy.
Well, you've now had your second week of classes, right? How are you
Yes.
feeling with your course workload and your professors? Are you enjoying it?
I love it. I'm loving it here. I never knew I'd enjoy this as much as I am. The classes are great. We have, for example, every Monday an on-site class with Professor Daria Borghese, and it's a class like nowhere or nothing like we'd had back home in Venezuela, because you get the chance to actually study in the sites. So she takes us to churches and to every single site that we are supposed to study, and we're seeing it live, not just in a picture in a book.
Great.
So
Roberto, come closer because I think you're falling off our screen. and I wanted to talk to you because AUR, we offer a program called First Year Seminar, and that's something to our freshman students that have never attended university before. They come in and they meet with the director and they have a class. And basically this course is kind of to help students acclimate to two things. One, to studying in a university, and the second is also to living here in Rome. Do you want to talk about maybe this first year seminar? What do you think of it? The peer mentors. We have two students that are usually juniors or seniors that are peer mentors, and they basically help answer questions that are, you know, I guess almost anything. Well, why don't you tell us, because you know more about it.
well, Jenny Petrucci, but she is the professor giving class, and well, she is great. She tells us everything. She's like training us for the university life. We also have our peer mentors that are Adrian and Zoe, and you can basically ask anything to them. They know everything from the university. They help you with, well, everything, again, as I repeat. But yeah, it's...
So they teach you about, you know, you as an international student, I'm not sure how familiar you were with the American system, but the first year seminar also helps international students get familiar with the American, with the credit system, with the course selection, and how to choose your electives, your core courses, and your upper level electives, and so on and so forth, right?
Yes, because we have, in my country, there's a different system with gradings and with also courses. It's also very different, but they have like made it so simple, the transition, and it's fairly easy. They explain everything from the courses. You have an advisor also that helps you all the way through.
That's a really good point, actually,
Yeah.
because we follow an American system. When you come here, you declare a major, or maybe you declare that your major is undeclared. And either way, you have an advisor that's assigned to you that meets with you each semester, and what they do is they go over the questions that you might have about your career, about grad school. I'm thinking about doing this, I'm thinking about doing that, and so they kind of go through your program sheet. They suggest maybe you should take this course if you want to do this grad program, or maybe you should take this course if you want to, you know, get a job here. And they meet with you each semester so that when you register, you're registering for the courses that you need so that you graduate on time. And I think a lot of the department directors have come and actually presented in first year seminars, so you kind of get to meet the full-time faculty and understand the different areas and the different majors and the different minors. Did you enjoy that? Did you find that helpful?
Well,
Yeah.
Ari, sorry, it's been his second week. I don't think he's met all the
But I think you
departments.
met quite a few though, right?
Although, yes, well, I haven't like actually met them like to sit and talk, but I like know their faces. I know who they are, because the thing is, because the university is really like small. It's a tight community, so there's like say 7, maybe 800 students. I'm not sure.
About 500.
Okay, yeah. Okay, but you get to know everyone really quickly. Like, this is my second week and I have a lot of friends here already. I thought it would be harder, but no, I love it here. My advisor is Professor Zonovan, and he's guiding me really well in my area, which is business. He's taking me, for example, he guided me to a course, it's personal finance. It's my first business course because I skipped Italian, which is one of the mandatory courses for the first year. But yeah, I'm already starting in the business area, and that's exciting.
Okay, that's very good. Good. Well, thank you, Roberto.
Well, thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your first semester.
Thank you.
Hopefully you'll be as positive at the end as well.
Who should we call on that?
I want to call Marco.
Really?
Yeah.
Marco.
Marco, I believe, came in fall 2011. Is that correct?
Yep,
Okay.
And you are now a res grad.
yes, I am.
Why don't you tell us what a res grad is?
Res grad?
Yes.
Res grad is basically, in a nutshell, you are an ambassador for the school. First 2 weeks are hell because you gotta get up really early in the morning and then go to the airport and then meet the new students. But in hindsight, it has pretty nice. I guess you get to meet all the people. You get to be the first face they see when they come in. So they're like, oh, he's a really nice guy. Whatever, it's gonna be not bad. So it has its perks to it.
Which is cool. We actually go to the airport and pick up our new students.
You know what? That's a loose definition of cool, but
You're a new student. Like we have signs waiting at the gate that says the American University of Rome, and then you meet people like Marco, and Marco brings you to student life, and they check you in, and they give you all this information. They take you directly to your house, right?
it's fun. It's fun. Yes, it is definitely fun. I enjoy it. I'm glad I did it. I get to meet people like Cliff and Edgar, who I live with at our housing apartment. And beyond that, I mean, people come up to you for questions. They're like, oh, where's this? Where's that? And, we take them around tours for the first couple of weeks. It's good. No complaints. I like it a lot. Definitely one of the better choices I did coming here.
And so that the parents know, you also check up on the students, right?
Oh yeah. We check up on you guys very often.
You're like the RAs of
Campus.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Our RA is a bit more like strict, I would assume, because like they knock on the door and they're like, what are you guys doing? How are you doing? Blah blah blah. Us, not so much. We basically check up on you in campus, see if you if you're doing okay, if you need help with anything. But every now and then, like, if you're in the same building as us or in the same neighborhood, we'll just if we see you like outside, or we'll hear you be like, oh hey guys, how's it going? Do you need help with anything?
Right.
And if there's a student that has an emergency, the university does provide them with an emergency phone number.
Oh, yeah.
And with that emergency phone number, either staff or faculty is called to help translate with police, fire department, also the res grads are also called for assistance. So there's never really a time where a student could be, in trouble with no one on campus ready to respond. Yeah, and that's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Plus, they put a bunch of a good majority of the students in our neighborhood where we live. So if there's any problem,
You're very
then
close.
yeah, there's 3 of us there. So it's usually nothing that we can't handle. I mean, thank God, right?
Well, Marco, we actually skipped a step. You didn't tell us your story.
Yeah,
How
what's
brought
your
you to
story?
Ah.
Where are you from?
Where am I from?
Yeah, I know
We
it's a
got
difficult
time?
question to
We
answer.
have plenty of time.
I was born in the States, in New York. I lived there for a very short time. Then my parents moved to numerous countries, Puerto Rico and Turkey. I lived a bunch of different places. Then I finally settled in Dubai, in the UAE, and I lived there for 8 years. I entered middle school and I graduated high school there. And then, all right, this is gonna sound really bad on my part, but how I ended up in AUR was I was looking forward to going off to college, and I thought, oh, college, definitely want to go to the States because that's what I had my mindset on. And what I wanted to do was study film and acting. I thought, you know what, nowhere else in the world, I gotta go to the States. So I put my applications out, and I waited and I waited and waited. Now I am not a big fan of reading emails, so what I like to do is just open them and scan really quickly. I'm like, okay, cool, I get the gist of it. So when I sent my applications out, the university sends you. Don't ever do this, by the way. They send you we will let you know with your letter of acceptance or rejection, whatever, by such and so date. So what I read as July was supposed to be June. So I waited the entire month of July. I'm like, doodle, this is not good. So plan B for me, which was a very hard choice to make, was I actually know Melissa from we were childhood family friends, and we actually go way, way back. But I was.
And we found out when we actually were both here at AUR.
Yeah, so this wasn't preemptively that I knew Melissa was here. It was when I walked through the room, I'm like, Melissa, she's like, Margo? Just the story is, read your emails. By the time by the month of July was up, I'm like, all right, you know what? Doesn't even matter. I guess I got rejected. I'm gonna apply to AUR. I like this place a lot. It looks good. Rome's fantastic. Always wanted to go
Sorry,
there.
Marco, just to interrupt you, point something out here.
Uh-huh.
What worked out for Marco really well is that AUR has rolling admissions. It means that we accept applications from students for all semesters throughout the whole year round. We don't actually have an application cutoff date. So you can apply to AUR up to the first week of classes.
Yes.
Sorry,
Right.
cut you
No,
off.
I got it. So July passed. I decided I'll apply to Rome. So I cannot make this up. There's no way this story is embellished at all. The day after I paid my tuition and my admissions for AUR, and I was I made up my mind. I did the phone interview. I was jazzed. I was ready. looked at my email and I saw the acceptance letter from the other school. And I was like, oh my god, you are so stupid, Margot. Anyways, but it worked out in my favor, so, you know.
So what do you study at AUR?
Film and communications with minor in English and literature.
And
Wow,
how are your
that's
film
broad.
classes?
Love them, they're fantastic.
Who knew you could study film in Rome?
Right?
Right?
There are people watching, right? I'm just being a complete fool for
No,
Okay.
but wait, so because there's actually quite a few Italian filmmakers that are
Yeah.
pretty famous.
Oh yeah. Fun fact, if you're a fan of Clint Eastwood and you like The Good, Bad, the Ugly, Fistful of Dollars, $50 More, Sergio Leone, which is an Italian director, he directed them, and they were actually his idea. So, not a classical Western.
So do you guys go out in the city and actually like film in the city?
Well, it's up to you what you like to do with your free projects. You can definitely go around with one of the cameras that the school provides for you and shoot anywhere. I mean, in the garden, in the Coliseum, well, in the Coliseums, around the Coliseum. I mean, it's pretty much like anywhere is pretty cool. I mean, you have free will to like shoot whatever you want.
And what's your favorite class so far?
Speech and
Really?
presentation, because the professor is hilarious. I mean, he's fairly new. His name is Daniel Connell. He's a British professor. And this man makes me cry like tears of joy every time like I walk in. It's very important to have like a captivating professor for me because that's it. It doesn't even matter if it's a class that I enjoy. It's who's teaching it to me. Because at the end of the day, it's not how much you truly love the material. It's how it's delivered to you, in my opinion. So this guy doesn't ever shut up, which is good. I mean, in opinion, you don't sit there like with those quiet moments, you know, like falling asleep. It's impossible because he just talks, he cracks jokes, and it's not all fun and games because he forces you to like be active and participate. I mean, when I mean force, and not like in a bad way, but like he brings it out of you. I mean, it's willing from you. So, and it's just fun. And you don't even morning classes 9 a.m. to 12. I don't mind. I don't care. I will get up, and I'm really like a huge aficionado of naps and sleeping in, so it's a big deal for me to come in at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Sure. Well, I have just one last question for you, Marco. What's your favorite thing about Rome?
Good question, Melissa.
Thank you.
My favorite thing about Rome? Well, Jesus Christ.
Well, you know, there's the Vatican.
Truth be told, actually, alright, not to, you know, take away from like the historical part, but I'm not a big history nut. I mean, it's great that they're there, and it definitely adds like this whole like beauty aspect about it, but history not so much. Oh my god, yes, food. Never mind, I lied.
Okay,
Definitely
Food. There you go.
Oh my god, yes.
And on, you know, a very practical note,
Mhm.
how is the social life here?
You know what? It is, the best way I can describe it is very dichotomous, because you have people that like to stay in and like cook and like go to the beach, do lots of homey stuff, and then there's people who like to go out with their friends to like, you know, bars, cafes, clubs, like the nightlife is fantastic here. And, you know, even if you want to go with friends, like just to, you know, for aperitivo, or like, you know, just walk around, you can do the whole spectrum. It's phenomenal. Like, even if you get tired of doing one thing, you can always switch like in a day. I mean, some places you get like, oh my god, like there's nothing to do. Well, there's always something.
Sure. Sure.
Awesome.
Great. Well, thanks, Marco.
You're welcome.
Should we bring out Francesca or Clifford?
Francesca.
Why don't you come over here? Well, Francesca, why don't you tell us where you're from and how you got here at AUR?
Okay, hi, I'm Francesca. I'm from Portland, Oregon. And I'm half Czech, half American, but I was born in Portland and I've lived there almost my whole life. And in high school, I decided to go on an exchange program and live in another country for a year and do high school there. So I decided on Italy, mostly because of the food and language. And I got to live with an Italian family in southern Italy, which was really great because I learned the language and a lot about the culture. I got to go to an Italian high school, so I got credit while I was there. But I learned a lot of things that I wouldn't have learned at a normal high school in the US, which I then decided maybe that's the same thing for university and maybe I should look at universities outside of the US. Which I did. I actually did my first year at community college. and worked the whole time, which was good because I put myself through that year. And being a student of financial need, that makes a big difference. But if you do that, transferring into the school is really easy. So, because I did 1 year, I transferred in as a sophomore, and it was a very smooth transition.
Very good. And what's your major here at AUR?
I'm an international relations major, and I have a minor in Italian studies.
And did you learn Italian through your year here in exchange abroad when you were living with the family?
Yes, I learned it pretty well, but then I studied it also in college in the US, and then when I came here I did the last level my first semester. I'm still learning a little bit every day. There's always terms to
Oh, I heard you speak Italian.
Yeah,
You speak
you
well.
speak really well. And you know, there's the opportunity for our students to continue, once they've reached the upper levels of Italian, to go to attend LUMSA, which is an Italian university here in Rome, and they can attend courses in Italian with Italian professors, and so you really get to have this cross-cultural experience. Do you have any cross-cultural experience at AUR?
through LUMSA or
Or did
No,
you do
just
LUMSA?
no, I haven't.
Okay,
Okay.
but just here at AUR.
Cross-cultural experiences. Well, they happen every day because
We gave you a hard question.
there are
It's
so many
funny.
cultures. The most I see it is in the classroom, which you mentioned earlier, but since the students come from so many different places, it creates a different dimension to the classes, because maybe you're studying something from a textbook, but the textbook is really just the basis, and then everybody has different opinions and viewpoints on it based on where they are from, how they were brought up, and different cultures. So you learn not just, wherever you came from, an American view of things, but
Also international.
I mean, we've had students from North Korea, from Syria,
From Egypt.
I mean, from really so many places that must add so much to the discussion, the in-class
definitely.
discussions.
and as an international relations student, it really helps you to understand people from different cultures as well.
And I think there's something to be said also about our faculty, is that they're not just faculty that regurgitates what you learned or read the night before in class. They actually have had some experience and done a lot of field work, and so they can speak from experience and not just, from the textbook, which helps with the
Definitely.
education. And you're a student assistant as well,
I
aren't
am.
you? Do you want to talk
Yeah.
about that? Do you want to tell us if you like it?
I love it.
Yes.
And it's really fun. It's fun working with Ariana, and I get to help students like me who are taking out loans or applying for scholarships.
Because one thing I didn't mention before is we do the U.S. direct loan lending program. So we participate in the full program, which means you can get direct sub and unsub, and also the direct plus loan as well to help fund your education.
Yes, and it's really nice to work here because you get to interact with new students and returning students, as well as faculty and staff members on a daily basis, and it also provides you with really great experience for afterwards and keeps you busy.
And I like the question of how have you changed since you come to AUR?
Probably the most in an academic way. Well, how I look at academics and different subjects, because I've traveled a lot before coming to AUR, but it was all from my point of view. So going to school with people from everywhere really made me see things from all different angles and changed a lot how I think about
So it's
different
actually opened
aspects.
your mind.
Yes.
Oh, well, thank you.
Francesca.
We just have one more person left and just a couple more minutes left, so why don't you come on up, Clifford?
Saving the best for last.
Saving the best
For last, absolutely.
And Clifford is a senior. He's leaving us soon.
Yes, very soon. It's about that time.
Graduating.
It's
It's about that time.
about that time. I've been going to school for a long time. I'm actually 26, one of the older students of the group.
You're not that much older, Clifford.
Not that much older, but I am older, and it's it feels good to finish up, especially here in Rome.
Where did you go before coming to Rome?
I bounced around a lot of schools in the States, going from Virginia to Nevada to California, couple places in Virginia, and eventually I built up enough credits that I was ready to finally transfer, and I was on my path, and it was
Well, what made you settle down here?
Yeah, what made you come to AUR?
What made you marry us? In a way?
well, I was having bounced around in America for a long time. I was looking for something new, something different. I wanted to get outside of the U.S. and I've always wanted to go to Italy. So really, I just Googled American universities in Rome, and the American University was the first one that popped up. So I did my research. I checked out John Cabot, a couple of the other ones that are around, and there's something about the American University of Rome that just really hit me. I don't know how else to explain it. I also applied to different schools in California, and they were not as responsive or organized as you guys were, which also really turned me on to American University.
Well, that makes me feel very well.
Yes, I had my interview with you at 2 a.m. and
Oh, really?
That was great.
Sorry, but that's kind of different.
Time change.
So you know students that have graduated
I
from
do.
AUR.
I do.
And so is it kind of exciting that you might know students from all over the world? So if you wanted to pop over to some, like what would be like the craziest country that you have your friend living in right now that you can just like pop over and visit your friend?
Oh, the craziest country?
Yeah, you know, stir it up a bit.
I don't know. Maybe Serbia,
Wow.
because I don't know. I've just never been there. I think that's probably the craziest one. But I have friends, like close friends. I mean, I've met a lot of people from, I don't know, maybe 20 different countries. But close friends that I could go to is probably around 8 to 10 countries that I could just fly, stay with them, and it's incredible.
And will you come back and visit us to, go to our alumni events?
I sure hope so.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
Because then you can kind of like regroup and catch up with the alums. We do quite a few alumni events, and
You do.
we're
You do.
starting to do one in New York soon. So we also will have a U.S. alumni event
Excellent.
if you're
Excellent.
out there. But you're going
I
to be
look
with us
forward to
because you're a res grad, correct?
I'm a res grad, yes.
And how do you like that?
It's awesome. I mean, Marco pretty much lined out everything that we do, but it's great. You get to meet so many new people, and you feel good. You get to go on tours, give new students your knowledge, help them out. You know, you remember when you were in that position, you really didn't
You
know
guys
a
do
whole lot.
cooking too, don't
We
you?
we do cooking lessons every Monday night, which is a good way because, at least for me, I don't cook. So coming out to Rome, it's nice to learn a few traditional dishes that I can just make at home. Pretty easy, and it's always a good time. Hang out, it's good fun.
And what's your major?
Business
Oh.
administration.
Wow.
Yeah.
So have you worked with some clients here in Rome on any projects, or?
I have not worked with any. Well,
Well, I know
I'm
that
the
your
president.
thesis is basically taking a company and
yeah, our thesis we have to take an international publicly traded company and pretty much dissect it from the inside out
right.
and determine what they're doing well, what they could be doing better, if they're on the right track, if they need to completely revamp their organization. That was a lot of fun. That's probably my favorite class so far, even though it was
The hardest.
the hardest, so hard.
You know, it might pay off because I've heard that students have actually taken their thesis to the companies that they've picked apart and have gotten jobs there.
Yes,
Exactly,
absolutely.
that is true.
That has
Ella
happened.
Edison, for example, she picked Johnson & Johnson and now she's working at Johnson &
Yes.
Johnson.
So
And the
their
thesis
story.
really helped out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It really helped out. But with other clients around Italy, I'm the president of the business club, and our prime function is to sell merchandise to the student body, AUR Spiritwear, and through that we have to work with an Italian supplier. So it gives students the chance to really get their hands dirty with working with businesses outside of America,
Right.
what Italian business is like, and
So it gives you a lot of experience.
Exactly,
Yeah, international experience. Which maybe do you think a counterpart of yours would have, like a graduate in the U.S. would have such kind? I mean, because you've been to a few schools in the U.S.
I've
so you
been to
might know.
many schools. I don't think any school that I've been to is as intimate as AUR. Not just within AUR, but with the community and the neighborhood around. The field trips especially the IR field trips, business has field trips too. Certain classes will take you to different companies around Italy, and you can go and see their production, talk to them about the problems of the Italian economy and doing business in Italy. So
You know,
I
I
don't
think-
think you can get that in America.
And one thing we didn't discuss too are all the clubs that we offer here at AUR.
There are so many clubs. Anything that whatever fits your fancy, you really can find a club for. I think student government, business, and then the sports, which are considered clubs, yes,
Yes.
are the biggest ones. But there's a running club, there's the Bible studies club, there's a choir club, there's the acting club.
That Marco actually started, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the soccer club is we have a soccer team, a boys soccer team and a girls soccer team, and we have our teams that play other schools here in Rome. But a lot of the AUR students go and root for our teams, right? It's kind of like a fun.
Oh, absolutely.
event.
The games are a lot of fun.
It's
I
kind
mean,
of a way of tailgating, I suppose, isn't it? A little bit. No.
Melissa never grew up in the States. So.
No, I didn't.
oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
But yeah, but it's
no.
fun. A lot of
Right.
students come and congregate and watch the games and
We do.
cheer.
It's
like
a great
the-
time. And there's a bus that'll take you, so you don't have to worry about getting there. There's a bus that gets you at the school, takes you and the team directly to the field.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, it's a great time.
And so are the boys better than the girls, or the girls?
No comment?
Oh.
I think
I
the
guess we
girls
know the
are
answer to
the
that
boys.
question. All right.
Anything else?
No,
I think that's fine.
All right.
Thanks, Clifford.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, we're just ready to wrap up here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you so much for joining us this evening. I hope we gave you a clear picture. I mean, there's so many things that we weren't able to touch upon. Like we have so many different majors, so many different minors, field trips that we even do in the Italian department, and
Internship opportunities as
internship
well.
opportunities, and maybe next time at our next event we can get some alumni in to talk about our alumni and where they are now. But regardless, you can always email us at admissions@aur.com, and there's Melissa and her admissions team, or even me, that could come and answer any of the emails, or even pick up the phone and give you a call. So you have our contact information here on College Week Live, and we encourage you to do so.
Well, thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Marco. The degree.